What's up, low rollers? Today I'm going to be talking about hunters and why you should be playing a dispatch. Subscribe to my channel for more auto chess mobile guides and come visit me on Twitch. First of all, what does hunter synergy provide? At 3 hunters it grants plus 35 attack and 30% chance to PS3 evasion, and at 6 hunters it grants plus 80 attack and grants 65% to PS evasion. To give a comparison, a rune hammer provides plus 20 attack, so 3 hunter synergy is basically equipping your hunters with 1.75 hammers. It's a synergy that doesn't rely on items like mages do with pulse staff and melee builds do with shadow edge. Instead, it's a synergy that is used to win streak through early and mid game, then to transition to a stronger build with whatever item that you can find, as well as analyzing the lobby matchups to pick a build. Typical game plan for hunter goes from 3 hunters to 6 hunters to transitioning to a different composition, most commonly at around round 21 or 26. Here are some common 6 hunter builds used during the mid game. Level 8 round 21 is the most common transition round, but for builds that are quite expensive such as insects and 5 dragons, trading HP to save gold until level 9 round 26 is the play when you're healthy. Sometimes putting in priest to a 6 hunter build between round 21 to 24 can be a good play, as most builds are strong against 6 hunters at that point. Moving on, here are top 4 builds that can transition from hunters in the mid game. 5 Dragon is a great build against Divinity builds, as 5 Dragon synergy allows your units to cast faster than the opponents can. It's weak against insects, as instant death for the units mean more units being spawned. 6 Agassiz is also a counter matchup, as the units continue to fight even in death. If you're win streaking with 6 hunters and 5 Dragon Knights and Totola Elder in the shop, plus there are a lot of Divinity builds in the lobby, 5 Dragons can be a great choice. The opposite applies for if there are insects and 6 Agassiz in the lobby. Aim for this build at round 21 or 26, depending on how healthy you are. Early game items can be flexible, as pulse staff can be used by spellcasters such as Flame Wizard and Venom with Grim Touch combo, and physical items such as Maelstrom can be equipped to Dragon Knight. This build is strong against mage builds including both 5 dragons and Divinity, and builds with no defensive synergy such as Beast. This build is weak against 9 warriors for the opposite reason, and also insects because the faster you kill them, stronger their build gets. Due to Agassiz synergy having multiple power spikes at 2, 4 and 6, there's a lot of way to play this build in the early and mid game. You can simply go 6 hunters with a front line and completely switch out to the composition later on, or you can utilize Agassiz synergy to have different mid game compositions. Here are some examples. Six Agassiz can start to feel weak as early as round 21 without a 2-star Dragon Knight carry or tanky frontline. For that reasoning, it's important to be win streaking to go for this build to be able to find Dragon Knights, as well as starting up the frontline units by rolling. Good early game items are Maelstrom, as the item synergizes well with Hunters and Dragon Knights in the late game. Pulse Staff isn't too terrible, as it can eventually be equipped for Siren or Devastator. Divinity is one of the most popular builds right now with multiple variations, strongest against Goblins, Warriors and Beasts. Matchups can turn unfavorable if Doom Arbiter silences your carry units such as Totola Elder and Wolfwood Sage. This build is weak against 5 dragons as mentioned earlier, as well as Feathered Assassins, as they can access your backline past the Wolfwood Sage tank. This build can be played using Mage Pieces and Heaven Bomber in the early game, but using Hunters in the early game to transition it during the mid game is also an option. Level 8 at around 21 is a good time to transition from 6 Hunters to this build. At the least, you will want to switch to 1-star Totola Elder, 2-star Thunder Spirit, and 3-star Wolfwood Sage with 4 Divinity at this point in the game. Insectoids is one of the strongest builds in the late game, with potential to do a lot of damage with the spawns. This build is strong against any builds that has burst that allows insects to spawn faster. These include Divinity Mages, 5 Dragons, and 6 Agassiz. It is weak against 4 Shaman and 4 Spirits, which can be transitioned from both Divinity Mages and 5 Dragons in the late game. Most common way of playing this build is from 6 Hunters and then transitioning fully at round 26 to Insectoids with Venomancer carry at level 9. This build is very expensive with the need to 2-star 4-cost units, as well as playing their duplicates to be strong. If you're win streaking all the way up to round 20, or plus you have a Shadow Edge, and you find a Venomancer, consider going for this build. I personally often use Priests in between round 21 and 24, as that is often when other players are hitting their power spikes and 6 Hunters begin to lose. Honorable mentions goes to 9 Feathered, 9 Mage and 9 Hunters, as they're not as strong as the builds showcased in this video. That's it for today. If you enjoyed the content, subscribe, like the video and post any questions you have in the comment sections. You can also find me on Twitch, and see you guys next time.